And of course, labor is an important part. It's what built the country. Yeah. You enjoy your weekend, think a union. You like, yeah. And these guys, it's just been a slow erosion of union power right now. The unions across the country are at their nadir. They're just at the lowest numbers that they've ever been, the lowest amount of influence that they've ever had. I get in arguments sometimes with conservatives, and I'll talk about the corporate money that goes into the campaign coffers and say, well, yeah, unions donate money too. That's a fraction. It's a tiny, tiny fraction of what corporations contribute. And these guys, it's just this free flow of money to attack the working man. They did it in Wisconsin, taking the governor there, their little Scotty, to attack any union organization there, especially when the public workers went on strike. Koch brothers again. And as a teacher, it strikes home for me. I've always been a union member my whole life. I was a Teamster in Alaska, public service sector. I was Local 71, laborers, the AFL-CIO. I've been a member of the American Federation of Labor, or teachers, since I've been a teacher the last 20 years. I've always been a union man. And I'm concerned about where unions are going, what's happening to them. This is a surprising one to some people. Religion, the connection of fascism to religion. Well, you can see Hitler's quote here. Today I believe that I am acting in accordance with the will of the Almighty Creator. Well, it's easy to say. And the symbol itself that was on the belt buckles of every German soldier in the Wehrmacht was Gott mit uns, God with us. So there's a religious connection. You can see that in some of these photographs. Hitler posing with the church steeple in the background, meeting cardinals and bishops. That doesn't make the church complicit in this, but Hitler very cynically used people, the religious impulse to gain and keep power. And here he's being praised by another fascist, Francisco Franco from Spain. Adolf Hitler, son of the Catholic Church, died while defending Christianity. This is an actual quote. It is therefore understandable that words cannot be found to lament over his death when so many were found to exalt his life. Over his mortal remains stands his victorious figure with the palm of the martyr. God gives Hitler the laurels of victory.
For heaven's sake.
That's a real Christians, get out and vote big time. Save Christianity once and for all.
Yeah, right.
Actual tweet. Hey, Mikey, where's the part where you're an American?
Trump's insurance.
Where's the part where you're American, Mikey? Not on there. I'm a Christian, a conservative, and a Republican in that order. Really? This is reflected in recent events. Just a very recent poll registered 81% approval rate by evangelicals of the Trump administration.
I just read that Trump's trying to get a bill through that, you know how the churches and stuff are tax exempt because they can't do political.
Right. They've
He's
been
trying to pass a
that for
bill,
years.
yeah, well, he
That
might
hasn't
get,
stopped him anyway.
no.
You've had prominent evangelical leaders like, what's the Howdy Doody? Looks like Howdy Doody.
Yeah. They all do.
Pat Robertson.
Pat Robertson, thank you. Voluntarily
Suddenly clicked in my head.
lapsed there. Yeah, they've all stopped politically. Hell, Pat Robertson, do you know, when he ran for president in the primary, do you know the only state that he won in? This state. He won the Republican primary in Washington State, the only one that he did win.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, shame and ignominy.
My neighbors have it.
Well,
Since
I'll go with
seen
these
them
guys
everywhere.
any day. The purpose of separation of church and state is to keep forever from these shores the ceaseless strife that has soaked the soil of Europe with blood for centuries. James Madison, who happened to write the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. Erecting the wall of separation between church and state is absolutely essential in a free society. Thomas Jefferson. The United States is not a Christian nation any more than it is a Jewish or a Mohammedan nation. John Adams. And the government of the United States is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion or the Treaty of Tripoli, which both Washington and John Adams oversaw in the overlap of their administrations. Here's some sources you can look that talk about this in much greater detail. Chris Hedges' book in particular focuses on, of course, by the title, American Fascism, and the link between the Christian right and current politics. They've been at it now for about 30 years, and they seem to only be getting more stronger and more influential. Women. Another characteristic of fascism is to try and keep women down, to put it simply, to make them hearken back to more traditional roles, to be baby ovens, to be domestic servants, to be there for the man and for the German society. And so you see this emphasis on traditional values, the family values, like a certain other party. I can name. I do name.
Very clever.
Yeah, I think that's good. I was really happy when I found that graphic. I've been looking for something for hours.
Whoa.
So, the question is, can it happen here? The question that Sinclair Lewis asked with his play in 1935.
So Captain,
Yeah. How close are we?
going back that other slide, a lot of people might not know that that black and white flag with the blue stripe is this Blue Lives Matter.
Mhm.
So
Cops.
that's showing underneath that is the Nazi mentality. But Blue Lives Matter means cops. Go ahead and kill anybody because we support you. So that's what that image
Pretty much.
is.
Well, it plays into what I've focused on before, is an obsession with crime and punishment, with police, the militarization of police, and the sanction of what they do. So how close are we? What does that duck look like? Well, let's review. Is government in the pocket of corporations? Has it been captured by big money? I'm going to let you answer this. I'm just going to show you the images. By showing you the images, I'm already telling you how I feel about it. You already know. This is evidence of it. Few of these things has changed, but I just really like this graphic because most of it's still applicable. You still have the Koch brothers operating, buying the elections, buying influence, buying democracy. You've got that awful woman in the Department of Education, I don't want to say her name, Betsy DeVos, and others. You had a former Verizon and AT&T executive running the FCC. This incestuous relationship, this overflow, this infusion, the revolving door between corporations and government. Plutarch, the great Roman commentator, pretty much said it pretty succinctly. The abuse of buying and selling votes crept in, and money began to play an important part in determining elections. Later on, the process of corruption spread to the law courts and then to the army, and finally the Republic was subjected to the rule of emperors. A big reason that Rome went from a republic, 400 years of shining republic, to an empire, to a bloody empire. The attack on unions is more robust than ever.
Oh, no, this is,
The other,
they're all criminal.
crime and punishment. This one sums up several of the characteristics.
And this is so close.
And you know what I'm talking about. The militarism is rampant and out of control. We were warned over 50 years ago by Eisenhower. The last thing he ever said to the country on January 17, 1961, beware the undue influence of the military-industrial complex. The general was trying to warn us about this. It's like he didn't say it. It's like it never happened. 6 out of 10 of your tax dollars go to the empire and maintaining the empire. Lastly, how close are we? You can have open marches, torchlight parades, Americans with the Nazi salute, with the leader calling them fine people, not chiding them, not shaming them, but actually encouraging them. So, is it a duck? Well, there's a couple of sources you might want to access. You want to read more about this. I gave you a recent one, Madeleine Albright's book, Fascism, a Warning, and an older book, almost 30 years old, Friendly Fascism, which kind of describes the freaky, friendly face of American fascism. It's sort of why we don't recognize it for what it is so readily. It's because it's different than Italian or German fascism. It's subtler, but it's still a duck.
Is globalism?
Oh, that's another topic altogether. We could go there, but globalism is an agenda of the corporate sector. So you can make that connection because globalization is a big G. Globalization is happening. The knitting together the world through communication and transportation is a thing. But the big G that benefits corporations, yeah, there's a connection. It's another whole subject. In class, I'd spend a week talking about.
In your study of history, has there been anyone in power that the president now holds that's come close to the melding of these things, like the press and corporations, the cronyism that has happened in such a short amount of time? Yes.
It's easy to say no. We have to look at our own times and the unique
Sure.
circumstances of
Yeah.
our time. I think the Gilded Age, the period of industry and production
Yeah.
after the Civil War until about 1900 was very much dominated by a handful of rich men who had control of the political machine. And this is before senators were elected. A part of the reforms of the Gilded Age would be the 17th Amendment to elect senators directly. During the Gilded Age, they're appointed. There's an old saying, one man, two senators. If you had enough money to influence the state legislatures, which appointed senators, you could own the state lock, stock, and barrel just by controlling those two senators. So we've had some pretty corrupt times.
Right.
Many people are calling this the new Gilded Age. I love this quote from Voltaire. I have a coffee cup. I carry it into class with me every day. Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities.